I didn't know that you had produced Bad and Bougie at first.
I'm not here crying about credits and stuff like that.
So I don't really want to open up a can of worms. Yeah, I do. But I've noticed in a lot of musical and academic circles, the concept of sampling isn't met with open arms. Whereas you are not only cool with sampling, you facilitate instances of sampling.
Let's start off with what is sampling. To me, sampling is not necessarily just taking a record or somebody else's song. I mean, it's just a repurposing of it. I'll sample myself in the way that I'll just write some music as a song or whatever, some weird sound collage. And then for me to just take the finished version of it and chop it up and transpose it and do something completely different with it, that's what sampling is, right? Sampling to me, I'm sure that the dictionary might have a completely different meaning, and I would not want to argue with the dictionary. But for me, this sampling is when you take something and you repurpose it in another way, right? That's kind of what hip hop is, more than just like taking somebody else's music. It's like transforming a piece into something else. You know, certainly sometimes it's very blatant and very verbatim the way it's used, but that's kind of what it always was to me, you know? I
mean, I'm of the opinion that hip hop is unique in that the process of creating it involves a dialogue with the musical lineage from which we've all come. If hip hop producers were just sampling Michael Jackson all day, that's one thing. But a lot of people are learning about musical history just from this whole sampling process. And
I mean, look, let's not get it twisted. Before there was sampling, dudes just took other people's melodies and flipped them. Like, I'm not going to say 100 years ago because I don't know that much about 100 years ago, but maybe like 75 years ago, dudes were taking old Broadway melodies and putting a bebop melody or lead line over it, and that's a new song. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's like, that's a different type of form of sampling, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think you could take it back hundreds of years because of folk music. That's what folk music
is the problem. I just don't know for sure.
No, I mean, we can trace the DNA of a folk record back, you know, centuries, and it's going to transcend, you know, geography and all this. But let's talk Bad and Bougie. So did you get the plaque for that already?
Oh, no, not yet, man. Not yet, but it's coming.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to hold off on it because it's and congratulations. It's 4 times platinum.
Thank you.
If it goes 5, you're going to want the plaque to reflect that. It's going to have, you know, the 5.
I know, right? I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just grateful for the ride I've been on with the song. I'm having a lot of fun with it, man.
So I have to admit, and I think I told you this, at least about Bad and Bougie. I didn't know that you had produced Bad and Bougie at first. And I definitely didn't know that you had produced I Got the Keys. And these are both records that I play the hell out of. You know, hopefully some of that publishing from the few radio mixes that I do has made it into your account.
Thanks.
And I checked the wiki page, you know, because I want everyone to get their credit. And I noticed that you are credited on Bad and Bougie as a producer. It's linked to some other Rob Mandel.
Really?
That's like a film guy or something. But that being said, you know, we did talk earlier about you not necessarily being the most active social media user. A lot of people would want to be more at the forefront after producing the hottest hip hop record of the last probably 5 years, possibly the last decade. You know, time will tell. Is that a concern for you? Not even on a personal level or an ego level, but on a branding sort of level?
I'm not here crying about credits and stuff like that. I mean, everybody wants to get credit for what they do, and I don't feel slighted in their song. You know what I'm saying? I've had articles written about my involvement with it. I was credited on the album when it first came out. We just had to get everything squared away, and 1,000,001 things can get in the way of you. You know what I'm saying? Getting involved from moment one. So whatever. I'm grateful, man.
Well, let me ask you about that thing that you just said, which was that, you know, when it came out, you had to get a bunch of stuff squared away. I think a lot of, and this is for producers, and I'm trying not to talk too much, but when a situation that's less than positive for the producer goes down and it's publicized, there are a lot of people who say, well, I would have done this, I would have done that. And there are people who don't necessarily have that level of experience. And what I've found in the industry is that, especially as a producer, sometimes the song comes out or sometimes the project moves forward without the producer even knowing about it. And then at the end of the process, we're scrambling to you know, get everything handled. Have you you produce a lot of hit records. Have you noticed that's how the industry works? It kind of, you fly by the seat of your pants a little bit?
I've seen it happen plenty of times. I've seen it happen a few times too. You just got to cross your fingers and hope that it's going to go the right way. And then on top of that, you just got to try to stay as involved as you can with the process involving your work. If those are your concerns, you know what I'm saying? If you really want to stay attuned to every detail and everything about the way that your music comes out, I don't even know how to advise somebody about that. It's just the world moves at a different pace today, and sometimes it can be tricky to keep up with it.
But Bad and Bougie, and then I Got the Keys. These were based on original pieces of music by you, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you definitely have a claim to a piece of that publishing.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never had to claim it. You know what I'm saying? It was never about me claiming it.
I always want to drive home that point when I talk to other producers, especially ones who have hit records, that the publishing is really the main concern for any musician, especially a composer.
Yeah. I agree that publishing is very significant, and it's like, I always grew up like hearing that it's your number one asset, never give it up, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the most important thing. The situations where I really got to see that as a fact in music school, that's what they teach you. Your publishing and your copyright, that's like your work,